Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And that, I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to recruit you, and our running back coach didn't take the biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. It's the Sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team. The Playbook today, Kennington Smith III joins us to talk Bama versus Chattanooga. Of course, we'll look at it's good, bad, ugly. Really wasn't a turning point in the game. What players stood out. We'll talk college football rankings, and we'll definitely get his thoughts on the greatest rivalry in sports, Alabama versus Auburn. Those conversations and more right here on your home for Alabama sports. I'm Martin Houston. Xavier is out today on assignment. He'll be back with us hopefully tomorrow, and we'll keep things rolling. But want to invite you to get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. So I want to invite you to go ahead and make plans to get in and add to the conversation. If you prefer to use the new method of communication, send us your comments, your reactions, and your questions into the live stream. Also, join, share, and like the live stream, the Martin Houston 35, Martin Houston 35 fan page, MaX Sports, and X and O Sports on Facebook, or just Martin Houston 35 on YouTube and the X/Twitter. All of those will get you into the conversation. You can put your thoughts, your questions, your comments, your reactions in. We'll work those into the conversation. Or, like I said, give us a call on the Alabama One hotline at 205-342-9904. That is the best way. Those are the best ways to get in. Of course, some of you may be tuned in on the app, the Tide 109 app. You can also send your comments there, and we'll work you in to the conversation. So it's Iron Bowl week, and I was hoping Auburn would keep their streak going, but things didn't work out quite so well for the Tigers on the Plains. Does that mean that they were preparing for Alabama, or did New Mexico just come in there and just dominate? We'll talk about that as well, get Kennington's thoughts here in just a moment. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you that this is the day that the Lord has made. So let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Definitely want to add a little conversation in here. And part of that conversation is we have to talk a little hoop. I always try to talk a little hoop before when they play a game. Alabama getting a big win against Mercer. Alabama basketball sitting at number 22 after a big win, closing out a 4-game stretch. So we're going to hear what Coach Nate Oates had to say here in just a moment regarding the bigs. But big time, Alabama has a trip down to Destin for the holidays and Thanksgiving, where they'll take on Ohio State first. And then, of course, based on what happens with everyone else, it'll be determined whether or not who they play from there. But Coach Oates has lots of options with this team. This basketball team has proven to be pretty versatile. Typically Alabama has had to have their starting lineup and then go small. But this year they have an opportunity to go big. And here's what Coach Oates had to say about his big lineup as this team continues to grow and mature. Coach Nate Oates talking about how the big lineup played on Friday night.
Yeah, I did. How long? Do you remember how many minutes I played that lineup? I don't either. I didn't think I had any long. I knew I had Grant, Jaron, and Pringle in, those three for a little while. Yeah, I remember. I do remember because it was a free throw and Sam was going in for whoever he went in for, and all of a sudden I realized I got four guys out there that are 6'9" or bigger, and Sam's really a 6'9" two guard. That's what he is. So he brought the ball up the floor on the one, drove it in, got fouled with the and one. So we'd like to play him like a 6'9" two guard. So, if we can put some size out there, I think we had that in when they had 0.3 on the shot clock after the tie up. Grant got the steal and then turned it over right away. I think we had that lineup in there then, if I remember correctly. But that's a lineup we could go to. We do need Sam to be able to rebound a little better. I think he gave up 2 old boards there and ended up fouling out. He's had an issue with, he came in, he's put a lot of weight on since he's got here. He's put over 20 pounds on, but he's kind of trying to prove he's tough and physical, and he's playing a lot more physical that way, but he's got to be able to do it without fouling. So, but playing Grant at the 3, something we can definitely do, as well as Jaron's playing, playing Jaron at the 4, Grant at the 3, Pringle at the 5. You got 3 guys out there 6'10" or better that can play well. Jaron's shooting it well, can handle it. Grant can handle it, shooting it. So it's a lineup we could definitely put out there at times.
That's Coach Nate Oates, and that's kind of scary to think about. This Alabama basketball team being able to put 4 guys out there at 6'9" or better. Mr. Sam Aldridge is going to have to. You heard Coach Oates say that he's going to have to learn how to be physical without fouling. I think this is his second game to foul out in 4 games. So, as Coach Oates said, he put on weight, trying to prove that he can play physical, but definitely an offensive skill set as a big 6'9" that can help this team. And of course, we know what Grant Nelson has done, and now you have Pringle stepping up his game. And Coach Oates even talked to us about Pringle stepping up his game. And here's what he had to say about Pringle and what he's doing to help this basketball team get better as a result of accepting the challenge that Coach has laid out for.
Yeah, I think he realized he needed to be better for us on defense. If we're going to be good on defense, we need some rim protection. We need bigs in there that can, make those blue-collar plays we talk about. And I think he's taking that upon himself to be that guy for us. And he's been better in his pick-and-roll coverages. He's been better helping his teammates out when they get beat, coming over, blocking shots. Been better rebounding it. He's been finishing at the rim. I think when his energy gets going on the defensive end, you see he's 7 of 8 from the field, similar to what we saw last year. He shot 85% from the field. So, I'm pleased with where he's at after this week.
Yeah, and if Alabama basketball, I know for y'all who tune in, everybody's like, Martin, it's Iron Bowl week. We got all week to talk Iron Bowl, and it's coming up in just a moment. But if this basketball team, because people who have listened to this show know that I'm a football player trapped in a basketball player's body. I absolutely love basketball, and when Alabama football is doing well and basketball is off to a great start, it's really exciting sports around T-Town. Pringle is a guy who I think will just continue to get better. And I love the thing about basketball where you can hustle on one end, defensive end, and then it translates into you being a better player. If Pringle continues to ramp up his game and his defensive end, as Nate Oates said, Coach Oates said, at 85% shooter from the field. He's going to be finishing at the rim. But here's a dude that has finished for Alabama since he stepped on the court and appears to have taken his game to the next level. Here's what Coach Oates had to say about Mark Sears and his contribution since he's been at the capstone.
Got him from Ohio. He was at one of the best foul rates in the country. He gets fouled. He drives so physical. But I think he's gotten a lot better making the reads. He ended up with 6 assists and only 1 turnover tonight. So, he between him and Mark, between him and Aaron, they had 10 assists, 2 turnovers. So thought those guys did a good job making good reads. Aaron and Mark both, they're so physical. Like you asked about Mark, when he drives, he's finishing the rim, getting fouled, or making the correct spray out now about 95% of the time. So he's grown a lot in his decision-making, and he's always been pretty tough and physical coming downhill.
Yeah, and that's what if you got bigs who are finishing at the rim, you got bigs playing a big lineup, 4 guys 6'9" or taller. You got defensive intensity, switching. This team shot 79% in the first half and didn't get up but 8 threes because they took the threes away. They were down. They reduced their turnovers against one of the top turnover teams in the country, only having 11 turnovers. And when all of those things start cooking and your leader, Sears, is playing as consistent as he is, it's early, but it definitely makes a huge difference. I love what Coach Oates and this staff is doing with this team, getting better on the defensive end, getting more consistent on the offensive end. They're going to need that and more as they head down to Destin this week to take on Ohio State in a Thanksgiving tournament on Friday. We'll be following it. We'll talk about it. More conversation regarding that. Alabama hoops, Alabama football. It is Iron Bowl week. We're going to add Kennington Smith III to the conversation. We want to add you to the conversation, and you can do that by calling 205-342-9904 or posting your thoughts, comments in chat. Thank those who are on the phone. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we got a pretty serious wreck, 2059 westbound at exit 71. This may involve a school bus. We're trying to confirm that. If you see conditions, please give me a call, 205-886-8886. 2468, up to $10,000 in instant savings on new Nissans at Townsend Nissan. And I'm Captain Ray.
Hey, Crimson Tide fans, if you have an automobile problem while you're in town for the game, call Jeff's Towing. Anytime your car won't go and you need a tow, call Jeff's Towing, 205-361-3997.
Spoiled supermarket meat, sawdust like fillers, artificial preservatives?
Hold on there. I'm veterinarian Dr. Marty Goldstein. You don't want your dog eating any of that. These potentially harmful ingredients are found in many of today's popular dog foods, but not in Nature's Blend, a freeze-dried raw dog food with real cuts of meat, omega-3 rich seeds, and superfood veggies and fruit.
Nature's Blend is designed to help support your dog's playfulness, healthy skin, soft coat, easy digestion, and youthful mobility.
Your dog will go bonkers over Nature's Blend savory flavor and texture.
For a limited time, save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and receive a free festive holiday dog sweater with select orders. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511.
I guarantee it with a 100% 90-day return of your purchase price.
Offer available with select orders while supplies last. Text fees may apply. You may receive up to 1 additional text. Text stop to opt out. Paid for by Dr. Marty's Pets.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Increasingly cloudy and mild today. The high for this afternoon around 71. Rain and thunderstorms moving in tonight. There could be a few strong storms involved, the low 59. Tomorrow, cloudy and windy, rain ending during the morning, the high 68. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 46 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaX Sports. I want to invite you to go out and check out Billy's Cooking Restaurant if you're looking for a great place to eat. Try Billy's Cooking Restaurant. They have 50-cent Wing Wednesday, Fish Fridays, and Soul Food Sundays opening each Wednesday through Sunday at 11 a.m. Tell them Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by. That's Billy's Cooking Restaurant. Also check them out on Facebook at Billy's Cooking LLC. And don't forget, even though it's not in town, hey, this is the best time to have a tailgate or a cookout. They'll give you the game day specials. You can call them up, ask them, and tell them exactly what you need. If you need to call them, 205-652-8617, or stop by their location right there in Holt, across from the old Holt High School. That's Billy's Cooking Restaurant. All right, let's keep the conversation going. MHS 0407 saying Bama remained number 8 in the AP and coaches poll. I think the College Football Playoff Committee will keep Bama at number 8. Bama needs help from other teams. We'll talk about the college football rankings with Kennington Smith the third as we bring him into the conversation. Good morning, Kennington. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Kennington, will you have the same responsibility in covering basketball that you do with football?
Not exactly the same, but I am going to be regularly covering basketball. Like, for example, with football, going to road games is a part of the responsibility, like traveling to every kind of Bama football event. In basketball, I probably won't have as much of a road schedule. I will be at every home game, though, and, writing features and doing analysis throughout the season.
Okay.
So I won't be covering them as closely day-to-day as I do football, but I'm going to be, around Coleman.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. All right. Well, we have a couple callers waiting to get in with us. So good morning, Pat. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on the Alabama One Hotline. You're on with Kennington and Martin. What's on your mind, sir?
I'm like y'all, Martin. That basketball looks fun. However, we would have basketball practice Thursday morning, and no one would eat Thanksgiving dinner. Would eat Thanksgiving dinner as a team, but no one would eat Thanksgiving dinner until everyone on the team shot 90% from the free throw line. The ridiculous free throws that we missed. Oh my goodness! And when you miss the first half of a 1-1, you lost 2 points. At Martin, I'm so disappointed. At one point in time, we were shooting higher from the field than we were from the free throw line, Martin. There's no excuse. Even as short as I am, you know how short I am and how fat I am, I can still shoot 8 to 9 out of 10 from the free throw line. I can't do nothing else.
Listen, what do we say when Alabama wins a game 66-10? By the way, you said we underestimated Chattanooga and you picked 66-6. So you won the prediction contest. But here's the thing, Pat. Anytime we go into a game like Chattanooga, what do? We say, man, when Kool-Aid fumbled the ball, when what's his name got the targeting, when Ty dropped the ball, we said, hey, at least Coach Saban has something to work on to coach. Okay? So take the same approach with basketball. Alabama basketball did everything right except for what you're complaining about is a free throw. So Nate Oates has something for this team to work on to get better. So
oh man, hey, but the thing about the reason I'm fussing though, Martin, is because against a team like Ohio State, we need to shoot 80.
That's what I'm saying. So they did it against Mercer when they probably lost a little bit of their edge and a little bit of their focus, and they blew them out. And so if they had made that, what would he be coaching them on right now? It's always good as a coach to get a win and still have some teaching points. Kennington, your thoughts there?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, always nice to have those teachable moments and, better to know and, focus on that area before you get to a big stretch like, Bama's upcoming stretch with Arizona, Creighton. There's another top-ranked opponent there in the mix as well. So better to address it now before you get to the big game. They find out that you have a free throw issue in mid-December. So I agree, but I think Bama basketball is going to be just fine.
Real quick, Pat, you got anything on football before we get to the next call?
Yeah, the football game. We don't have to talk about the ugly. We know the ugly was dropping the ball, doing that stupid crap that so many people. I've seen them do it in the pros, dropping the ball before they cross the line, not giving the ball to the referee. I don't think it's going to do that again. But, I mean, it was a great run.
He learned his lesson. I guarantee you, it's gonna be the longest touchdown run of the season. Didn't happen. So there we go. He probably learned maybe our biggest play. I don't know, but anyway.
Well, it was part of the reason that I won my score prediction.
All right, Pat. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate you, man. I'm sure we'll talk to you later on in the week.
I've been won a couple of times. Have I at least won a Martin Houston Coffee Cup?
Well, no. Actually, Pat, I can get you a coffee cup offline, but this I'm gonna put together. It'll be like a cap, cup, shirt, etc. At the end of the year.
Oh man, I need a Martin Houston shirt from when I go to Billy's Cooking and pick up my cake.
All right, man. Sounds good, Pat. Thanks.
All right. Have a great one. You know I'm a 2X. I'm a big boy just like you.
Thanks, Pat.
All right.
Have a good one. All right. Hey, Kennington, we got Robert from Mobile. Robert, you're in with Kennington Smith III on the Alabama One hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, guys. I kind of disagree with you there, Martin, on there was no turning point in that Chattanooga game. There was indeed a turning point. It was the opening kickoff, but that turned the game around. That was definitely a great time for Ty Simpson to make that mistake by not carrying the ball across the goal line. Because I'm up 50 or whatever to this team. They're not going to beat me, and we don't lose the ball, and the entire team gets to learn the lesson. So thank you, Ty Simpson. You've shown the whole team not to do that, not just yourself. We know you won't ever do it again, but the rest of the team isn't going to do it either. Just like the sight of how Saban did you on that sideline. Okay, thank you a lot, Ty Simpson. And that's a serious speed by Ty Simpson, though. Come on, kid, that was serious speed. I didn't know you had that in you. That's good to see. But it was definitely a great game, and of course, we saw Kool-Aid, not be the returner anymore. It's like, okay, Nick, why are we game 11? And you finally see that, the signs are finally coming. That maybe you need to put somebody else in there. And now did a great job.
What's one of the things you have said about Coach Saban and his loyalty? You have said that. I mean, Kennington, your thoughts on the finally seeing the change. I mean, the announcers were talking about it before it happened. Then when it happened, there just has been to see what happened, Kennington, after that makes you scratch your head almost as much as seeing what happened when they finally went all in with Milroe as well. What your thoughts there on Downs as a returner?
Yeah, I mean, huge difference just in terms of approach, and then obviously Caleb kind of breaks free and scores that touchdown. Maybe I have it incorrect, but was that his touchdown? Was that his first time actually returning the punt? Did he fair catch each punt before?
Here's the thing I want to point out. I saw the return, and that was awesome. The first one, you could tell he was a little hesitant. The second one, he was aggressive in fielding the ball so it doesn't roll. I mean, he did all three things that he caught the ball the first one. He went after a punt that was short. He attacked the ball and caught it. And then the third one, he returned it. We haven't seen Kool-Aid do the other two since the first or second week of the season.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. The stat of he only had one or two positive returns all season after the first game of the year. So you just think about, especially the beginning of the year, the way that Bama was playing and how close those margins were. You just think about all the times that they lost yardage to field position or muff punts that ended up being recovered or otherwise. So, I think that we're probably going to see Caleb Downs at punt return moving forward. It's clear that he has this element as a playmaker, and Bama's going to have to utilize that. At this point, it's undeniable, and I guess you can't fault Saban too much for his loyalty, because I'm sure there have been more times where he's been right than wrong, but it was just undeniable. We talked about it last week with the drop punt where Saban said it was on the gunner, and I said that looking at it on the replay, it looks like a clean drop. And then, the very next time out, he fumbles it. I think it was just kind of like, okay, enough.
Yeah. Hey, Robert, and I get your thoughts. And here's the other part. Saban finally did say and he should have returned the first one. First time he said anything negative. Here, I'll let you respond to that, as well as I still wanted to see Isaiah Bonds, because as good as Downs is, I questioned that at first, but maybe not. You don't think of a defensive back being more explosive than your wide receiver, but can't argue with it yet. So your thoughts there, Robert, before I let you go.
Yeah, that was definitely a good point. Maybe Isaiah Bond could probably do a pretty good job. Wow, Downs was just I don't see how he can do better. Kool-Aid was turning into the type of punt returner that teams wanted to kick the ball to. Not away from. And so that wasn't good there, man. No one was afraid to kick the ball to you. So, so now we fixed that. Real quick before I go, Auburn, goodness gracious, I know it's the Iron Bowl, and we should never overlook this team, but this has all the makings of me of another 41-14 beatdown back in 2011. That's really what this game has to be. Auburn is terrible. They are terrible. If Alabama is going to continue this A train that we're on right now, then Auburn has to be beaten almost to that degree. They got to go to Jordan here and beat them down 41, or we can score 40 points, and don't let them get over 20 at the most. It's like you got to, guys. Come on.
Kennington.
Yeah, hard to. Yeah.
And Kennington is new to the Iron Bowl flavor up in Tuscaloosa, so we'll break it down on the other side. I think we need to beat. Thanks, Robert. I think we need to beat Auburn in the same vein that we beat the Kentucky and Chattanooga. I think it needs to be that dominant of a look. If Alabama's going to do anything in the college football playoff rankings, we'll talk about that. Can Bama move with what we've seen the last few weeks? It seems to be more and more sentiment on this Alabama Crimson Tide in their progress. We'll talk about that. We'll also look at what Coach Saban had to say about a couple key players coming back.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, a couple of nasty wrecks on the roadways. We got one on US 11, both directions at Tingle Tangle Road in Vance. Another one, this may be bad, 2059 westbound at exit 71. That's Alabama 69. If you see conditions, please give me a call. 2468, up to $10,000 in instant savings on new Nissans at Townsend Nissan. And I'm Captain Ray.
Spoiled supermarket meat, sawdust like fillers, artificial preservatives?
Hold on there. I'm veterinarian Dr. Marty Goldstein. You don't want your dog eating any of that. These potentially harmful ingredients are found in many of today's popular dog foods, but not in Nature's Blend. A freeze-dried raw dog food with real cuts of meat, omega-3 rich seeds, and superfood veggies and fruit.
Nature's Blend is designed to help support your dog's playfulness, healthy skin, soft coat, easy digestion, and and youthful mobility.
Your dog will go bonkers over Nature's Blend savory flavor and texture.
For a limited time, save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and receive a free festive holiday dog sweater with select orders. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511.
I guarantee it with a 100% 90-day return of your purchase price.
Offer available with select orders while supplies last. Text fees may apply. You may receive up to one additional text. Text stop to opt out. Paid for by Dr. Marty's Pets.
Philip Ems, named for the great Choctaw tribal chief Philip Martin, is considered the best fine dining in the South. In addition to their award-winning wine selection, Philip Ems offers everything from steaks and fresh seafood to extraordinary decadent desserts. Philip Ems open Wednesday through Sunday. Book your table now at opentable.com and experience the best dining in the South. Philip Ems, exclusively at the Silver Star at the Pearl River Resort.
Marketing your business today can be more confusing than ever. Town Square Media Tuscaloosa is the leader in local content for Tuscaloosa and the West Alabama area. We deliver results on air and online for our clients. Here's what our clients are saying about doing business with Town Square Media.
Hey, this is Shane Spiller with Spiller Furniture and Mattress. And every week I have someone tell me, hey, I heard you on the radio. So thanks, Town Square, for helping me to grow my business.
To learn more about our marketing opportunity, contact us at TuscaloosaThread.com. Click on Advertise with Us.
Hey, Jen, I just stopped in to say hello. Oh my gosh, look how busy it is in here. How did you get all these customers?
Yeah, this month has been a record breaker for us. For a long time, we had decent business coming in from word of mouth, but we weren't really growing. Lately, though, a lot of new folks have been finding us online, and that's made all the difference.
That's terrific. I wish I could figure out how to do that for my shop, but I have no idea where to start.
Just do what I did. It's not as hard as you think. Go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there are here for businesses like yours.
Okay, then what?
If you see that there are a good number of clients searching in our area, you'll also get some suggestions for the best way to get their attention.
Do you think there are a lot of people searching for my business?
There's only one way to find out. Go to mylocalcustomers.com. It's quick, easy, and free.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many Tuscaloosa customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9. X is out on assignment. We have Kennington Smith III of The Athletic in. Kennington, tell them real quick where they can find you, sir.
Twitter/X at Skinny Kenny _ SKINNYKENNY _ theathletic.com or The Athletic in your mobile apps. Search name Kennington Smith.
All right. KS3, we'll keep things rolling. Yeah, I know you're new to the Iron Bowl craziness. Have you got any taste of this game yet?
Not quite yet. I mean, I think obviously the conversation honestly started about a week ago in terms of like social media. Obviously Bama wasn't overlooking Chattanooga as a team, but we as media and the fans have the luxury of looking past that one. So the Auburn conversation kind of started a bit last week. It's only intensified, obviously, with them losing to New Mexico State. And, I've seen some people raise the observation of that lets you know exactly how much of Alabama prep Auburn did this week. If they're getting blown out by 21 against New Mexico State. So it'll be interesting. I think obviously anytime, Alabama goes with Jordan Hare, it can be a close game. I mean, I think back to a couple years ago in 21 with a 4 overtime game. So crazy things can happen there no matter how good Bama is and how bad Auburn may be perceived to be. So I expect an exciting game.
Yeah, Alabama was 6-5 that year. I mean, Auburn was 6-5 and Alabama was 10-1, same records. The big question that people are asking is that this Auburn team better than that Auburn team? And is this Alabama team better than that Alabama team with Bryce Young? We forget how good that team was because they ended up losing the championship to Georgia in a rematch, but forget that Alabama beat Georgia down the first time around 41-24 or something like that. And then, of course, the second time we played them, we lost 2 key players. And in that Auburn game, we forget that Jamison Williams was targeted, got called for targeting, which is stupid as rule. I hate that rule. I hate this targeting rule. I'm sorry. That's a sidebar. I understand what they're trying to do, but Ken, this is just a quick sidebar. Why do we throw players out for that when most of the time it according to the rule, it is a foul, right? But guys go for guys' knees more intentionally than they do their head. Meaning, when you see guys tackle low and at knees and guys' knees get hurt, they went at their legs intentionally. Most targeting calls happen because the defensive guy has an alignment. He's aiming for the numbers, which is where you can do a whole lot of things, but this torso doesn't move. So you're taught to aim right there. Well, if the guy bends down any at all, you can't adjust last second and avoid the top of your helmet hitting his chin, even if you aim at directly in the middle of his shoulder pads. Stupidest enforcement of a rule I've ever seen.
Yeah, and fortunately for Chris Braswell, unfortunately he got ejected, but fortunately it happened in the first half, so he won't be suspended for any of the Iron Bowl. I think that's like the other thing of practice is like if it occurs in the second half, you got to serve a suspension for the next game into the first half, like it's like a carryover. Yeah. So, time and situation wise, it could really hurt your team depending on what's ahead on the schedule and all of that. Fortunately, it's not going to hurt. First, it's not going to hurt them against the Iron Bowl, but you hate to see Braswell's senior day go like that.
For what? And you, I don't know if you saw the play or went back and reviewed it. I think Braswell expected the guy to move. Like when he went in, it was like he was so wide open, and it looked like the quarterback was looking at him. It's like he didn't move. So Braswell was aiming, probably thinking, okay, this guy's gonna go left or right. So he's aiming right for him, and if the guy goes left or right, it's not a foul. But the quarterback literally, Ken, I don't know if I've ever seen somebody just go, okay, I'm telling you.
Right.
So I know that seems kind of crazy, but when you're out there playing, you're anticipating all these thoughts go through your head. So I thought that was pretty funny. But it's so much happening in this game that's coming up, Kennington. But let me get your thoughts from just how well Alabama played against Chattanooga, and what does that say about this particular team? How they've handled their business progressively as the season is gone.
Yeah, I just think that it indicates that the team is really focused right now, and the necessary areas that need improvement are finding their way. Obviously, you can't take much stock out of the Chattanooga game and use that as like the indicator that Bama's team is playing at a really high level right now. But I do think it speaks to a certain level of focus because, again, let's look across the country. Not everybody had such an easy week 11. I know Maryland is a superior opponent to Chattanooga, but Michigan has almost 3 touchdown favorite struggle against Maryland. Florida State, even before Jordan Travis was hurt, was down 13-0 to Northern Alabama. Obviously, Auburn got blown out by New Mexico State. So you look across the country, these are not gimme games, even though they're supposed to be. And, Bama went out there and handled their business. And I think Saban made an astute point last week where he said it's not so much about just winning the game, it's we want to maintain the level of consistency that we're at. Because if we go out there and we don't play very well, that could, be a bad omen, or it could kind of negatively affect the momentum for this upcoming game against Auburn. So to see Alabama come out, handle business, and then especially get their starters out, at halftime. I know he kind of steadily removed starters as the game went on, but getting almost a full half of the experience for some of the second string guys was great as well. So by all accounts, that's exactly what you wanted if you're Alabama team.
Especially the QB position. It was good to see what's his name look. He looked comfortable. He looks like he's getting more and more comfortable. Ty Simpson. So that's good to see. And he showed. Now he can't run it at the clip that I think that Miro can run, but it still shows that you can have some of these same RPO dual threat options in there when he's in the game. Kenny, when you look at this football team, there's been a lot of improvement, and the easy answer is Jalen Milroe, and you can answer that if you want. But what do you think is the biggest unit or element? Because it may not be necessarily a unit; it may be a certain aspect of the game. Do you think this team has most improved in and makes them even more dangerous?
Yeah, I would say the run game, and there is a multifold answer there. I think the offensive line has improved. Then I think the creativity of how Tommy Rees is calling the run game has improved. And then lastly, it's implementing Jalen Milroe and guys like Kendrick Law and inserting Jim Miller and inserting kind of a little bit more juice into the running back to where it has a more cohesive and like more filled out type of attack. And I think the Kentucky game was a good example of that, where they didn't run necessarily for a huge amount of raw yardage, and they didn't run for a lot of yards per rush. But when Alabama needed to run the ball, and when they needed to convert on short down situations, and when they needed to control the game with the clock, especially in the second half, they were able to do that. And that's something that the running game wasn't able to do at the beginning of the season. So I just think the running game taking a step forward has opened a lot of things up for the offense, and it's probably one of the bigger changes that I've seen from the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and there's quite a few we can list there, but I list out, and I agree that the running game has popped up, and I think the running game, what we thought it would be at the beginning of the year, is that now, and therefore everything else around our offense is clicking at a high level. I'll get your thoughts really quick on this. What do you think? How impactful is the fast starts? To me, that's been the game changer. Alabama's making you chase. And when you're chasing this team, this defense, things go well for Bama.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I mean, that's again kind of goes back to the focus thing, just being able to come out and execute early. That's a common theme that we've seen the last 2 weeks, and it's kind of come in different ways. Like some weeks it's like against LSU was the offense, and then Kentucky was kind of like a little bit more well-rounded. Obviously, the same thing against Chattanooga. So getting better at the opening script, getting better at setting some momentum early in the game has been really helpful, and I think a sign of how this team has matured for the beginning of the year.
Yeah, and I thought it was great, Kennington, that Alabama has not thrown a deep ball or completed a deep ball touchdown or a deep ball in the level he was doing earlier in the last 3 games per se, and comes out on this first one, gets Burton right back into the game, and gets that confidence going into the Iron Bowl with Milroe and the deep ball.
Yeah, I mean, and this like again, it just kind of speaks to everything that we talked about has led to the consistency element that's been missing from the offense. Is just consistently being able to sustain drives and move the ball without having to rely on kind of like a pop shot offense that it was at the beginning of the year, where it's like 3 and out, 1 first down, then you punt in the next drive, you hit for a 75-yard touchdown, and then you punt the next 2 drives after that. It was, really just kind of hit or miss early in the year. You're starting to see a more cohesive unit each Saturday.
Yeah, coming back on the other side, we're going to get Kennington's thoughts on one young man that I believe has a really, really bright future. I'm going to ask him, did he see any others that popped? Any other players that popped? If you want to get in on the conversation, you can call Kennington on the Alabama One hotline. Talk to him at 205-342-9904, or post your thoughts, your questions, your comments in chat. Coming back on the other side, Alabama versus Auburn. We'll get Kennington's thoughts on what Bama needs to do to take care of the Auburn Tigers.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, a couple of nasty wrecks on the roadways. We got one on US 11, both directions at Tingle Tangle Road in Vance. Another one, this may be bad, 2059 westbound at exit 71. That's Alabama 69. If you see conditions, please give me a call. 2468, up to $10,000 in instant savings on new Nissans at Townsend Nissan. And I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Monday morning. It shouldn't be a surprise for native Southerners, but it's Thanksgiving week. That means changing weather conditions possible, and we will have it. Strong to severe thunderstorms, even a small tornado potential overnight tonight. Here is a slight 2 in 5 chance for severe weather running between 10 and 4 tomorrow morning in West Alabama. There's also a wind advisory with gusts upwards of 40 miles per hour from 7 tonight until 7 tomorrow morning. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for later updates. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino 7 days of giveaways is going on now. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. We're giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. That's right, Birmingham Racecourse Casino is giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. There's always more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
It's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough: our health. Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We're told these are normal signs of aging. So working with the team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful anti-aging supplements on earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
As many opportunities as we'd like for him to because of the depth of that position, but I was very pleased with the way he played. Made an outstanding run for a touchdown at the end of the game. But 19 did a heck of a job blocking for him downfield so that he could score a touchdown. But Justice has done a really good job all year long, and we have lots of confidence in him.
That's Coach Nick Saban talking about Justice Haynes. And don't miss that little comment. And number 19 did a great job. I am convinced that the reason we don't see as many long runs is that we don't have enough K-laws. If you go back to when Bama's been great, the wide receivers have been committed to blocking, and that's what turns a 15-yard into a 20-yarder. But I'm going to tell you, when that dude hit the hole, I thought he was full speed, Kennington. But when he got to the angle and that guy had the angle on him, it's like he had another gear. Justice Haynes is a special player and a superstar that I cannot wait to see where he's toting the load.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great to see him get this opportunity, and then kind of building off of having an opportunity against Kentucky the week before. He got a chance to run it a good amount, maybe 5-6 times against Kentucky. Then he comes back, gets another 5 carries here. And finally does break 3 for that long touchdown. So great to see him get a chance to get some run. Jam Miller had some great moments as well. So Alabama's losing a couple of seniors, presumably losing a couple of seniors at running back, but the future is extremely bright at that position with those 2 guys leading the way.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, and it is. They're elite. Jam Miller and Justice Haynes are elite. I love to watch both of them run. And I am convinced that there is no overhype on Justice Haynes. He just happens to me. Justice Haynes would be doing the same thing as a freshman that Caleb Downs has done as a freshman if he had the opportunity. He just happens to be behind three guys that are also all playing well. So Kennington, as you look at this, what do you think is the key to Alabama going into Voodoo Palace, as Bam Bam 72 calls it? That's what I always call it. I mean, as we said, Alabama and Auburn, you can kind of throw the records out. I feel a little different because of the way this team has shown their abilities to get on task. And we made fun of the Lank shirt early on. You know, let the naysayers know, but we'll let a naysayer know. But they seem to have taken that to heart as a team and playing with a chip on their shoulder. So I could see it being a blowout easily this year, despite what has happened in the past. What are your thoughts on Alabama's keys to victory against Auburn?
Yeah, I think the big thing is just going to be kind of what we talked about earlier. It's just like coming out and establishing momentum early and just ending the game as early as you can. Do not let them hang around, because obviously as the game goes on, the more Auburn hangs around, more confidence that starts to build, and then you might be in a rock fight, closer to the evening time as the game lanes on. So I think going out there, just establishing dominance early, getting both sides of the ball and special teams in a consistent rhythm is probably going to be the biggest thing. And what I'm going to be looking out for more specifically, I guess, from one side or the other, is limiting the run. I mean, Auburn has the type of athletes at quarterback with Thorne and even Robbie Asher that they decided to throw that wrinkle in there, to where they've shown that they can create some big plays with their quarterback runs. That's really been the only element of the run game that's been able to hurt Bama this year. You think about South Florida, LSU, Joe Milton had a couple of long runs, so did KJ Jefferson, and a few others. So those mobile quarterbacks can kind of give Alabama a little bit of trouble. So I'll be interested to see how they defend that on Saturday.
Yeah, and I think what we said, I think fast start momentum is key. You let this Auburn team hang around. It can, North Alabama shows you when a team has a bye week, even though Auburn didn't have a bye week. I think part of what happened to them is coaches were working on plays that would work against Alabama's defense versus New Mexico State. So I think it caught up with them Saturday. We got J-Rob on the line. J-Rob, you're in right now with Kennington Smith III on the Alabama One hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning, Martin and Kennington. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Happy Iron Bowl week.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I think it's a trap, man. The Auburn Tigers have set a trap for us, man. They, this Saturday they'll play like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They will.
They're not going to play like that.
They will. Yeah, and that's
yeah, man.
Go ahead, J-Rob.
Yeah, that's what they did. They didn't even work on Alabama. You're exactly right when you said they didn't work on Alabama. They just took New Mexico State and thought they could beat them without practicing, and it caught up with them. But like I said, you watch this Saturday. It'll be we better watch out for ourselves going down there to Voodoo Land.
Thanks, J-Rob. Great insight there. Kennington, it's the craziness of the Auburn Tigers in that stadium since its inception is crazy. They beat our team when we were number 2 in the nation, undefeated, and they were 7-3. They beat the Alabama team with the Kit 6. They beat, which was national championship quality. They beat Alabama when they got 1 second. Lost one time when they got 1 second back. Won one time won both of them. We got 1 second for our benefit. They got 1 second for their benefit, but they won both of those games. And then, of course, we know this is the interesting part. This is the 10-year anniversary of the Kick 6. If Alabama had won that game, they would have went to 12-0, went on to play for the three-peat of the national title. And of course, we know that what happened there. As you look at this Auburn game and or college football playoffs, does a dominant win, help Alabama over Auburn because of Auburn's schedule and it being a rivalry game? And do you see any movement in the polls if nobody loses? And if not, can Alabama jump from 8 to 4 with a win over Georgia?
Yeah, I don't think they can. I don't think anything's going to help their case beating Auburn. I think it's just not so much as saying this to like discredit Auburners or try to disrespect them, but just it's going to take a signature win to really shift some things nationally. And we've kind of waited for this Saturday where the top ranked teams start losing, and it hasn't happened yet. So conference championship weekend is the weekend for Alabama or any other teams to make a move. So I think the path to the playoff is simple yet complicated. Like for Bama, it's simple. All they got to do is handle the business in front of them, beat Auburn, beat Georgia. And then the complicated part is obviously hoping that maybe some chaos ensues around them to make this path a little bit easier. Again, I've been of the opinion that I think if Alabama beats Georgia, it's the best win in college football all year, and you have to reward that. Now, what that might look like in terms of a Final Four is a little bit more of a complicated conversation, but I think SEC champion Bama is going to be really, really hard to leave out when it's all said and done.
I was impressed. The game day guys all said that they would put Alabama in if they went out. So it was a very interesting conversation. And Herb Street was like, I would drop Florida State out, and that was before the loss. So it'll be interesting to see how that conversation rolls out. Do you want to give a score prediction? If not, just go ahead and let us know what you got coming for the rest of the week.
Yeah, I'll take Bama 34-13. Think it could be close early, but eventually Bama's going to pull away and win by 3 scores.
All right. That's Kennington.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Go ahead. What's that?
And happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. Hey, is there any movement in the polls? Does Florida State fall? Washington move up more than Florida State falling after a win over Oregon State?
I would expect Florida State to stay there until we see a full game from their backup quarterback. So maybe movement going into conference championship week, but no movement this week.
Yeah, and I won't be surprised if Washington another win over a ranked opponent and just having a better resume. But I think because of the injury, they probably won't move it because they don't want to look like they're not giving this team a chance to have their backup quarterback. Tell them one more time, Kennington, where they can find you.
Twitter/X at skinnykenny_theathletic.com or The Athletic in your mobile apps. Search name is Kennington Smith.
All right. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you, Kennington, man. And roll tide out there, everybody. Thanks, Kennington. We'll be back on tomorrow as we'll bring DC Capstone and report into the conversation, have some similar conversation to what we had with Kennington. Hey, if you have a topic or something you'd like for us to hit on tomorrow, please don't hesitate to post it in the comments. Hey, like, follow, and share the Martin Houston Show on the social media platforms out there. Need your help to get my followers up. I appreciate you helping me do that. And always tune in to Tide 100.9 and 1230 a.m. WTBC. I'm Martin Houston. That was Kennington Smith III. That's Noah Haynes. X. Hopefully he'll be back on tomorrow. Remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Thanks to all the callers and viewers and chaters right there. Roll Tide, everybody.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
It's our best Black Friday ever at JCPenney. Line up early this Friday in store for giveaways all day. At 5 a.m., you